All right. Welcome everybody to me just learning how to relearning Laravel actually. Um I've been trying to learn different languages after I got laid off and I was actually knee deep in ASP.NET and I was trying to figure out what type of languages I should be learning because when you go to different jobs, what just happened? New major version of npm available. Name server handling the event returned error. What is going on? Why is this happening? HBRSNQ listen. Oh, but in any case, the point I was trying to make was got laid off, trying to learn different languages, and I was doing the ASP.NET for a good amount of time. Decided to go back to Laravel because I started, you know, I learned Laravel some time ago, and when I was at my previous job, we were doing Symfony. Laravel and Symfony are both using PHP, and I decided to go back to Laravel because when I look into a lot of PHP jobs that ask for Laravel, so I'm trying to relearn Laravel. However, I'm coming back to it. They have installed a lot of new things, a lot of new features, especially when it comes to using like front end frameworks like React or Vite. They are using this like I don't know if I should call it a middleware, but there's this library called Inertia.js that's supposed to make it a lot easier to do API calls or retrieve data from on the backend side with Laravel as opposed to just like doing like API connections, like if you did like a fetch. I guess you don't really need to really do fetch anymore because with Inertia.js, it's like this in between component that makes it a lot easier to do server side, I guess, actions, whether it's to create or update stuff. I wanted to start this whole tutorial off by just running this application first, but something's wrong. So saying npx concurrently c, and then it looks like there's some hex hexadecimal. Looks like they're like numbers, hexadecimal numbers. But I'm gonna put this in the Google and see if I can get something out of this. See, it's not really giving me enough to error generating files, PHP arson with form, plugin context. Maybe I don't have the node modules, or I haven't installed all the nodes. Probably did. Wait, with form. Let me see here. Maybe I should put this instead. Zero indicates that the Vite plugin would fail to automatically generate TypeScript definitions during the Vite compilation. Common errors. If your project separate from your front end and back end to separate containers, Vite is running inside a container that doesn't have PHP installed. PHP is installed. Maybe I'll do it again because I do recall that it asked me if I want to. I think it said something. I got like a notification saying if I want my thing to be connected to a node. Hmm. How about I just put composer run? I do anything different? Oh, interesting. So then it gives me the options of different things I could do. Let's do lit for a quick second. I'm curious. While that's running, I want to read more of this. If your project separates from your front end node and back end into separate containers, Vite is running inside a container that does not have PHP installed. Dynamic parsing code flows. How to debug the exact error. To see the exact traceback hidden behind the node error message, run the underlying artisan instruction manually inside your project root terminal. We could try to do all that. Okay, everything passed with lint. Let's look into this and see what happens. I'm gonna run this command and see anything happen. Database connection is not configured. Okay, so what I'm thinking right now, um, is, well, first off, like I just mentioned, I'm trying to get back into Laravel, so there's a lot of things I completely forgot about. At least a lot of the commands I completely forgot about, like how to create different models, um, how to create like different events and stuff, and using inertia.js, which was like a bigger thing that I saw. Um, I'm trying to figure out where it'd probably be in front end. Is there something called front end? I remember there was something called front end. Uh, front end, and here's the inertia stuff. Here it goes. Inertia offers, thankfully, Laravel offers the best of both worlds. Inertia bridges the gap between Laravel application and your modern React, Svelte, and Vue frontend, allowing you to build full-fledged modern frontend using React, Svelte, or Vue while leveraging Laravel routes and controllers for routing, data hydration, and authentication. I wonder what data. I naturally think data hydration means it's refetching. Like if any of your data is cached, it's going to refresh or update refresh the data that if there's any type of new data that's formed. So I'm not gonna really. I don't think I'm gonna actually look into that right now. And this is the interesting stuff here. Um, return inertia render user shell user. So there's going to be the model where it's find a field based on the ID and it returns the particular user. And within a React file, it's going to show this and get the username. So that's cool. Um, I think there's another way for me to, well, there's a couple of things. Okay, based on the message, my database hasn't been configured. So I'm thinking the first thing I should possibly do, because I have my env file and I have MySQL root Laravel. So we need to have something called Laravel. Maybe we should call it web app one, because I'm probably going to have a lot of Laravel applications. I'm going to just call it web app one. Okay. And it's going to have a ton of different, I'm going to have a ton of different Laravel apps because I want to just consistently get better at it. And where was I? Welcome. Let me go here into the agents.md is actually really good information. Now, I mean, nowadays with web developing, there's a lot of like AI agents and they actually build many of the languages. I need to start learning how to do that as well. Um, I've been sort of resistant to do that, but either way, I do want to start looking into. I just saw it too. Maybe it was in a different. Let me see, inertia. Sorry, I'm just looking into a lot of things right now. Maybe I should find it by putting front end. Okay, why don't I just put npm run dev, which will run the it will run the front end framework or it'll run React. Oh, When starting dev, error command fails. Okay. I think it's still the similar situation here. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get a MySQL. I think I have a MySQL here, like I think I have some type of MySQL GUI, like MySQL Workbench. I do. I just didn't see it. So we're going to open that up. This is DigitalOcean. Okay. No connections established. That's fine. We can remove this. Unable to connect to local host. Maybe I need to turn on my WAMP server or some shit. Let's turn on WAMP. I feel like I should have had to turn on WAMP, but who knows? Okay, maybe I should reload this. Let me do this again. Okay. But my thing is, the system have quiz. I want to create another database here and call this web app one. Why? I think creating this, yeah, the schema is pretty much this database. Now let me see if I just now doing this because I did change the .env file. So it will be looking for web app one. Let's do composer run dev again. See if that fixed the issue. Hmm. Database manager, MySQL root. I wonder if I don't recall what my I think with my local there's it is a root. I don't think I would have a password. I don't think there's any password. So I was looking at this. Maybe. Hmm. Let me go into my web real quick here. Um, I don't think I have anything. This is fairly old. Isn't like MySQL at version 8 or something by now? Hmm. Okay, so I have web app 1. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. So I guess the first step right now is to try to make a successful connection to web app one. Now the funny thing about it is I made this run before, but now I can't make it run again. So something happened within the process of trying to, it says no config, database connection is not configured. So let's go to database manager. If I can find that. Dynamic configurations, config, the connections. I would naturally assume in my .env this would work. Maybe if I just do it differently, like I put instead of this, SQLite, I put MySQL, and then I'll put web app one, and then I will keep uncomment these out and try this again. Let's see what happens. While that's running, someone look into this. Failed to automatically generate. Your node front container combine node be like using Laravel cell or near as compilation from a container that both has context. I don't really have, I'm not using a Docker container. Let's see, I'm pretty sure an error, no error. Okay, no error, which is good. So the issue was primarily maybe how I set up the connection string possibly. And that's fine. Let me actually bring this down here so it can all be matched together. And at this moment, it is running the local host to see the, I think to see the React application is here. Oh, it's already done. Well, that's enough for me right now. This is me getting, I don't know what I'm going to title this. I don't know if I'm going to title this personal project, a learning Laravel 001, something like that, or maybe learning Laravel or personal project something, because I want to just get the fundamentals down of learning Laravel and then eventually get into like building a personal project because I want to build a personal project. I want to redo my old website. I have a portfolio website here. Um, and I want to redo it with Laravel, change the colors, change just the look of it, and obviously add more content to it because the last one time I updated anything was on 2020. So it's like 6 years ago. So it's nothing really to brag about. So that's where my head's at. I'm in it right here.